Good morning and welcome everyone. Before we get into this morning's update, I want to go over a quick overview of what is transpiring so far this morning. We can see XRP sits up about 3.19%. We got up a tiny bit higher overnight. Nothing to write home about yet, obviously, but we got up to another resistance level that's going to be important here. So yesterday we talked about 262, but now that we've kind of come across here in the last day and a half or so, that resistance now actually sits right around $2.59. And you'll see in yesterday's update, I talked about XRP will rally if $2.47 is held and 262 is overtaken. Now that 262, we can talk about it around $2.59. So we're actually right up at the cusp of this. We did break over 262 briefly overnight, but now that the hours have passed, and it's not Tuesday into Wednesday, now it's Thursday, that downtrending resistance line continues to get slightly lower, and right now it's sitting right around $2.58.9. So that's what we're going to have to pass this morning, and we'll talk about after the intro exactly what that would entail if we break through that, and exactly where we're going to be pushing if that were to happen. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about later as well. I'll figure out how to do this, because there is a story about Chris A. Larson, that he has a dormant XRP wallet with $7 billion worth that is starting to become active. So little bits are being sold out of it, yada, 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 so on and so forth. But yeah, we'll talk about that later today. I don't know if I'm going to do it during the update when my son's in therapy later on, or I'm going to attempt to do the live tonight. Like, I can pretty much say I think there's going to be a live tonight. Yesterday, there was no way to do it. There was no way for me to do it here. They had meetings in the room that I was in, so there wasn't much of a chance. So, it's going to be an odd week here, but we're getting through it. So, good morning. 7:28 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, March 6th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I don't understand that headline. XRP price muted as White House crypto summit looms. It's quite the opposite. It's been on a steady rise. That's a ridiculous. I'm not going to read it, but they're saying XRP is basically stuck. But since Monday, XRP's up almost 18% leading into this crypto summit. So I'm not sure what that headline's about, but that sounds idiotic to say the least. As XRP's approaching that $2.59, even from yesterday, we overtook that 247, and now we've come up to that resistance at 259. Now that the day's gone on Wednesday, it would have been 262, or Tuesday into Wednesday, I should say. So now for XRP, we put ourselves in a spot. We put ourselves in a spot that if we can get over, and this isn't the right chart, even though that is the pivot point, we came over this $2.47, and this is what I had drawn out on the live that we were able to do on Tuesday, and then I reaffirmed this yesterday. Thought we were coming up and we would top. I didn't know how high it would go, but I put it around 267. We almost hit that before we came back down, so I'm thinking this could be a quick inverse head and shoulders here. I definitely wouldn't want to be in a position where I'd have to buy or sell at this point. It's why I buy in the bear market and why I hold on to what I want during the bull market. I always overbuy so that I can take profits along the way, but I always have a set amount of what I want per token, and it's not debatable. It's not up for discussion, and it's not for sale. So when I get asked all the time, would you sell your XRP for X, Y, and Z? No, I wouldn't, because I bought X, Y, and Z and XRP. I may not have been able to do everything I wanted to in 21, but I stayed dedicated. I focused on what I knew, and then I expanded in 25. In 24, I should say. When we had a bull market run, got to sell off some profits because I buy so much more. To put it in perspective, I wanted 100,000 DGB. I'm at 1.4 million. So I bought 14 times more what I want with DGB. The moment it gets up to 10 cents, even if I think it's going up to 20, 30, 50 cents, hell, even if it gets to 5 cents, there's a chance that I might sell off some if I want to take profit. You just don't know. So you gotta be transparent with yourself and what your goals are. I probably wouldn't at 5 cents because 100,000 tokens would be like $500. But I'm saying when it gets to a set amount of money, you would want to have your ability to do what you need to do. And some people say, I'll never sell because then I'll miss out. Well, it's the fear of missing out that causes you the fear of missing profits. Or should I say the fear of taking profits, because you are missing profits. But 9 times out of 10, that's a losing proposition, because what ends up happening is you have a very big rise in your asset. You're up 700-800%. We've seen it with XRP when it was up 1,000% from the bottom. From where we bought it went to 340. We bought it at 34 cents. That's a 10x. And we watched it. Some people didn't sell any. Even if they had overages, they just let it come down. And then some people sold it on this wick when it dropped past $2, the ones who wouldn't sell it over $3. So, I mean, there's a very dangerous proposition here. There's also a very dangerous game that's being played here by XRP. And I don't really want to talk about it. But if this ends up playing like this, there is a very real chance if we got, let's just say we came up, we hit $3.85 and got rejected. There is a very real chance here that we are creating some kind of upward channel that we have to be conscious of in case we don't break this resistance. Because there is the scenario, we come all the way up to 385 and that could actually hit this top resistance area, get rejected there, and then have a very substantial drop here. So I'm looking at that scenario as well. And that would still keep it over $2 at 217, but that'd be like a 44% drop. So you always want to update these patterns and stay in tune. And this is the latest update that I made for myself. I wanted to wait until the update started so you guys could all see where I'm at. So now we have a situation developing here. Even though we've held a broadening wedge, there is a chance that this could become this uptrending support, and it's kind of like this breakout of the symmetrical triangle. And then instead of coming back down here, and let's say you came all the way up here to the broadening wedge, then you'd have to come all the way back down to $1.69. There is a scenario here now where $2.17 in this play could end up being that support structure now. And if it did come back down like that, it wouldn't necessarily be a good thing, because now you're all of a sudden, you might be in a rising channel, or it could just be an uptrend. So there's two ways to look at it. So I just wanted to make sure to touch point on that. We've got the XRP Bitcoin pairing up 3.37% per Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is down about just 0.4%. But we do have what looks like some nice inversion here. And if we could get past that 3057 level, I think we'd be pretty good here. Nice inverse head and shoulders testing out. Inverse right arm being retested on the neckline. And it's just been a spectacular setup so far. So we'll see if this can continue and ultimately come up to first layer. You know, if we can get hot here, 5110, but ultimately to get all the way up to that 7500, that from here, that's 250, almost about 250% from here. And then Bitcoin reversing now that the US is waking up. Never a surprise here. Never a surprise. They always want to start dumping the market when the US starts waking up, and then it'll do what it does later in the day. But they always do the objective. Always pumps up a little bit during the night when the US is sleeping. Always starts to dump down around 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard, or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 a.m. Eastern, or 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sorry, I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. It was an interesting night. Can't wait to be home. But, you know, still got a long time before that's done. A couple weeks probably still. But, let's see. So, yeah, so Bitcoin, I very well see it coming down to try to hold that 89,000. I think this is the consolidatory moment. So, as the U.S. wakes up, they're going to see it as it starts pulling back from 92,800. And then we're going to have to watch it drop almost 3,000 points to that support structure. I don't think there's any way to avoid it. I don't think it's a bad thing, but we're going to have to try to see layer by layer if all of a sudden we are, in fact, going to hold this breakout of the descending wedge. It's also a symmetrical triangle resistance that is now a support the way it taps. So that's what we're going to have to watch today. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Hopefully this update finds you well. And don't forget that they have this going on BITUNIX. So I always encourage everybody to use BITUNIX because they have the lowest spot and leverage trading fees. It's the lowest maker-taker fee, especially if you're a leverage trader. I don't see why you would go anywhere else. No KYC or VPN needed unless you want to do a know your customer, and that's worldwide. XRP is available everywhere. And BITUNIX, believe it or not, was one of very few exchanges in the USA. I wish I would have known about it in 2021, but they never got rid of their XRP. So they supported us, and I find a lot of transparency there. But there's a promotion going on. If you deposit $500 and trade one time on the futures, doesn't matter how much, you get 50 bucks. If you deposit $1,000 and you make one futures trade, so a leverage trade, long or short, you can even do a 2x trade. You get 100 bucks. And then the trading rewards, complete a futures trading volume of 1 million, get 20 XRP, goes all the way up to 50 million in USDT in trading volume, which means, let's say you do $10,000 trade and you do a 10x trade, that's $100,000. You would have to do a lot of those. But if you're somebody who's a high volume trader and you're like, you know what? I'm a high leverage trader. I trade $100,000. I do a 10x trade. That's $1 million right there. There's 20 XRP. And so on and so forth. So if you're a high volume trader, you do 50 million in futures trading, and that's the combined with leverage, not how much you actually have to spend in real dollar. You get 800 free XRP. That's over $2,000. And I know people take advantage of that. If I had the funds, I would take advantage of that. I'm just being honest, especially if you know the market. So that's what's going on there. Make sure you hit that like button, share this on social media so we can get the word out. Join my community with over 31,300 plus subscribers, and make sure you don't let your emotion dictate what's going to happen this morning. We'll go over XLM later. I have a very nice article I would like to read about XLM where they talk about, I don't know if it's on here, but they talked about how XLM could be setting up for that $1.31 approximately, or $1.60, and I think that'd be very interesting. But yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But I do have to go. Have a blessed day, everybody, and I'll catch you later. Now that XRP is over 260, loving it. Right now, we're over that second resistance. If we could hold that, but remember, it's the morning time, so there is that chance Bitcoin could dump down to that support area, unless we hold 90K, which would be fantastic. So just watch for a little bit of volatility as the U.S. starts waking up. Peace out, everybody.